Greetings, family. Peace and love to you and yours. This is Guru, and thanks for visiting my channel. Family, Sheriff David Clarke was in talks for a Trump White House job. That is, until John Kelly stepped in and killed those ideas. So, the new sheriff, he's not in town. You see, it turns out that allowing people to die in your jail and comparing Black Lives Matter to ISIS is a bridge too far for some in the Trump administration. Yeah, that's right. This little niglet, David Clarke, he ran his mouth a little too much. And it ousted him out of a White House job and to head the Department of Homeland Security. You see, his mouth did that. Thank you, David Clarke. I'm glad you ran it as much as you did. We don't have to hear from you again. At least not from the White House. I'm glad you didn't get that job. The same way the people didn't vote for you to become mayor. Why you got mad at the people in your own city of Milwaukee. They didn't want you either. Well, it looks like the White House doesn't either. You're just a failure. But anyways, I digress. Let me get back to the story. You see, Sheriff David A. Clarke just lost out on yet another Trump administration job. And he has the president's chief of staff to thank. Well, John Kelly, I thank you as well. Officials in the West Wing tell the Daily Beast that Clarke had been in consideration for a White House post over the past 7 weeks. But on Tuesday, the controversial former Milwaukee County lawman signed on with an outside group instead. He will serve as a spokesman and senior advisor for the pro-Trump super PAC America First Action. 4 sources working in and close to the Trump White House said his failure to land a gig in the West Wing or at the Department of Homeland Security, where Clarke unsuccessfully sought a job earlier this year, was in large part the result of opposition from White House Chief of Staff, pictured here to the left, John Kelly. Kelly led the Department of Homeland Security until late July. Though Clarke had been discussed for a possible White House communications or outreach role, Kelly's position as Chief of Staff made the arrangement a non-starter, as one senior White House official put it. Earlier this year, while serving as Department of Homeland Security Secretary, Kelly had informed Clarke that an appointment to that department would not happen, in part due to scandal surrounding the treatment of inmates in Clarke's jail and the ensuing negative media attention. According to 2 sources familiar with the discussions, this led to Clarke formally rescinding his intention to join the Trump administration in mid-June. So in other words, once he found out that he just wasn't a good fit, he changed his position and he rescinded the idea of going for those posts. Basically, they told him no, and then to save face, he said, oh, I'll just back out of the deal. No, they just flat out slammed their door in your big nose face. Well, Clarke's continued absence from the Trump administration is a further indication of Kelly's attempt to limit the impact of fringe elements in the upper echelons of President Trump's staff. At Department of Homeland Security, Kelly had personally shot down an idea supported by some officials in the Trump White House to have immigration ultra-hardliner Chris Kobach as Department Secretary of Homeland Security. As Chief of Staff, Kelly had ousted the former Comms Director Anthony Scaramucci and curtailed access for close Trump advisors such as Omarosa Manigault. If you've been following the news recently, you'll see, or you'll at least come across stories where John Kelly has pretty much put Omarosa on the back burner and told her to sit down and shut up, in so many words, in that she wasn't going to have close relations with Donald Trump any longer. That has happened. That has occurred. Everybody knows it. If you didn't know it, I'm informing you now. Anyways, Clarke was a lightning rod of controversy during his tenure atop the Milwaukee Sheriff's Department, where he oversaw abhorrent conditions in the county's jail that have led to lawsuits against the former sheriff. As Clarke sought a White House job last month, he was sued by the family of a man who died of dehydration in his jail after being deprived of water for 7 days. Allegedly with Clarke's full knowledge and approval. What kind of man does that? What kind of man deprives another human being of water, your basic need for survival? What kind of creature are you? You've heard me in the beginning of this video. I called David Clarke a niglet. He qualifies for that. That's why I gave him that name. We've heard the term before. Clarke qualifies for it. He is one. As Clarke sought a White House job last month. Oh, I read that part. Sorry, family. He is also facing a lawsuit from a woman whose unborn baby died while she was in Clarke's custody due to negligent medical practices. She was 8 months and 3 weeks pregnant at the time. I'm going to end this off here because there's more to this story, but I don't want to give this idiot much of my time. I think I said basically what I wanted to say about David Clarke. He's not a sheriff. I don't know. He wears a lot of the gear. He wears all these fake medals and things of that nature. He makes more of what he is than what he really is. To me, he's a nobody. But nonetheless, to the White House staff, he's also a nobody. Like I said in the beginning, new sheriff, not in town. Thank God for that. You know, black folks, we were kind of concerned whether he was going to get in the White House, and this is good news. With that, I'm going to end it off here. Thanks for watching. Peace and love to you and yours. Until the next video, take care of yourself, and we'll see you later.